Good evening, everyone, our Edge Radio Australia listeners. Tonight is Thursday, and we're going to talk about relationship. So, what are the things that we're going to talk today? We're going to talk about love languages. That is very important. Then we talk about 4 ways of communicate that kill the relationship. And then we're going to talk about conversation gridlock. Okay, so all of these 3 topics I really believe are very important for couples and for people in relationship to understand how the things work and what to do about that. Now, let's start with the love languages. The love languages is a theory that was published in 1992 by a psychiatrist, Gary Chapman. And he believed that humans have 5 major ways to feel loved. Okay? And he categorized in these 5. First, you have gift. Second, you have time. Third, you have touch. Fourth, you have word of affirmation. And the 5th is act of service. Now, why those are important? Those are important because all of us, every one of us, speak different love languages and receive love by different way. And it's important to understand, if you are in a relationship, which one of these of love languages is your partner. Now, let's talk about these 5 love languages. What it means. If someone feel loved with gift, can be, of course, a Ferrari if you want to, but gift is more about the thought that you buy something for the partner. So it can be a piece of chocolate, can be a flower, can be a candy, can be small things. Okay, don't have to be big, small things often. So gift. So the value is on gift. Now, time is actually good time with your partner. Time means spending time for a walk, spending time for a talk, scheduling time to have the conversations, doing things together, play together, have fun together. This is time, spend time together. Touch. Touch is very often misunderstood with sex. Touch in this love language, there's nothing to do with sex. Touch is about holding hands, stroking hairs, hugs, and holding hands in front of people, touching the body, caressing, all of these things. That has nothing to do with sex. When people say my love language is touch because I express love with sex, sex is the way that one of the way that you express sex, but is not the way that is not the touch of the love language. Okay. Now, words affirmation. Words affirmation are compliment. Okay, word affirmation are compliment. We find especially words affirmation and touch we find in child. Child, of course, when you are just born, you need a hug from your mom. You need a hug from your dad. Okay, and then word affirmation, reassurance. Act of service is actually something that kids. But we can talk a little bit later about this. Act of service is something that kids love a lot. But words of affirmation is the compliment, okay? Reassuring someone that they're doing the right things, Okay, act of service is doing something for the other one. So can be a bake a cake, building a house, can be write a letter, can be make a CD. I don't know if anyone makes CDs today, but these are act of service. So doing something for someone. Okay, now why is important? It's important because uh, every person have a different way to feel loved. For example, if my love language is time and my partner give a lot to give to me, that for me maybe is not the main love languages, but is never with me, yes, maybe I can appreciate the gift, but I feel unloved because I don't have to spend enough time with the person. So uh, this is what happened with a client years ago. This is an example. This couple came in because they were in a gridlock. We talk about gridlock later. A gridlock, communication gridlock. So they couldn't, they weren't able anymore to discuss about things. And the conversation with all the questions went through that she was upset because she felt unloved. So, and the partner say, well, I'm building a house for you. I'm building a house for you. So how you cannot feel loved when I'm building a house for you? Now the problem is that his love language, what he was expressing love, doing things. So with the act of service. Okay, so for him was giving love to someone, building the house. Okay, the other person love language was time. Now she for a while appreciated the fact that he was giving her the house. Of course, the problem is that who was building the house was the partner. So building the house was taking away the time between the partner and the two partners. So one felt resent because she believed that he or the partner wouldn't love her enough, and he was resenting her because, well, I'm doing all of this. Why not understand that this is love? When they understood this concept, now the husband just start to spend more time with the wife. Okay, maybe I remember they chose to spend a Saturday together, Saturday afternoon together, without any other distraction, and that was enough for them to reconnect. Okay, this is why it's very important to understand what is your partner love languages. I repeat, the love languages are act of service, number one, doing things, word affirmation, say, well done, brava, good job, you're beautiful, I love you. Touch, that is not sex, but is about hugging, holding hands, caressing, massaging, all these things. Time is spending time with people, and gift is gift things to someone. Don't have to be expensive. Is not something. It is not something material. Okay, it's not that someone have love language. First love language is gift is material. No, that is just the way they express love. They want to receive love. Now, if you understand what your partner love languages is, then you should act toward give to your partner what they're looking for. Okay, so if your love language is time, their love language is touch, you can spend that time with them. But if you never hold their hands or they never give a massage, they maybe feel unloved. So you must learn how to do that. Okay, and this is for each of the language. The best things to do is speak all of them. Learn how to speak all of them. Okay. Um, Now, what is curious, and this I was saying just earlier, that we change our love language from the childhood to the adolescence to adult. Okay. Now, this is why, because we live different phases, different stage of life. When you were a kid, you need time with your parents. You need touch, so you need a lot of hugging, a lot of words. Okay, a lot of words. So words of affirmation. You're beautiful. You're cute. You're fantastic. You can do it. All these things. And some of them have, for example, as well, act of service. Receive someone do something for you, okay, for the kids. Now, this change when you become a teenager because your relationship change, okay? And what is change is maybe with your peers, when you're adolescents, with your peers, you have more quality time with them, okay? And maybe quality time, and you have touch. If you have the first girlfriend, you have touch from them. So shift with your parents, between parents. This is why there is a lot of conflict between teenager and parents. It's because the parents still love them in the same way they did as a child, not understanding that the child became a teenager, now is in a different stage of life, and they need something different. Can be maybe a gift, okay? Gift, so a bicycle, a PlayStation, or other things, okay? Do something for them, okay? Make something for them. This can be become more important for teenager with the parents. So what you can do here as a parent, maybe just check in and ask question. How do you feel loved? How do you feel loved? How do you feel supported? How you feel seen by me as a parent? Okay, conversation that you must have with each of the teenager that you have in your family. Okay. Now let's talk about the 4 ways to communicate that kill the relationship. There is 4 major ways to communicate communication that kill the relationship, and are very simple to understand. So, and if you're going to have a look, and then we talk about this, we to have a look, they are connected. Okay. Now, communication number 1 that kill a relationship is criticism. Criticism is different from complaining, because criticism stand from a point of criticize someone personality, someone person, okay, beliefs, okay, where if you complain about something that didn't happen. For example, you complain is like the criticism is why the rubbish still here? I cannot ask you to do anything. Yeah, that the criticism. Complaining is, darling, what happened? Why the rubbish stay here? Complaining. Complaining, critics is 2 different ways to communicate. Same things, same problem, 2 different ways. The second way to communicate that kill a relationship is defensiveness, is when you defend yourself from the critics, okay, without accepting your role in what happened, okay? So, for example, I criticize because the rubbish, I cannot ask you to do anything because the rubbish is still here. You defend yourself saying, no, I take out the rubbish every day. It's you that you're never happy. Yeah. So you throw back to the other person the responsibility of what's happening. Now you have criticism defensiveness, then we have contempt. Contempt is a form of criticism, a higher level. Okay? What do you mean with that? If criticism is an attack to the person, contempt is the belief that you are much better than your partner. Okay? And when you believe that you are better than your partner, you start to be disrespectful. Okay? You start to mocking. You start to, for example, mocking, eyeball, you roll your eyes, you do something like spoofing, or oh my God, you say something like, you're nothing without me, okay? You're nothing without me, you lost without me, I can do everything, you are useless. This is all contempt, contempt. Come from a point of you that you believed that you're better than the other person. Now, the third part is stonewalling. Stonewalling is when you become too heated, okay? The conversation become too heated, overwhelmed, your blood start pumping, your heart rate go up, and you just shut down. You just shut down. You can see these people, maybe they close their arm like this, and they look at the person they're talking with the hope that the person shut up. Yeah, this is stonewalling. Now, I give an example of all of this four altogether, okay, with the rubbish. While rubbish is here, I cannot ask you to do anything. Okay, no, I do a lot of things is you are never happy. Okay, you have this back and forward between criticism and defensiveness, and then, oh my God, you're so silly. Oh my God, you're so silly. This is contempt. Okay, my God, you're so silly. You always have excuses. This is contempt. Huh? And then the other person shut down and walk away. Now, it's looked like that stonewalling is something that more men do, for the simple reason that is an anthropological things that we learned, and men used to learn in hunting and gathering time when they were facing maybe something very dangerous. They need to shut down their body and hope that the thing they were facing wouldn't see them and kill them. Now, we don't have any more tigers, okay? We don't have any more dangerous animal that want to kill us. Now is our partner, okay? What you can do to defeat these four ways to communicate that kill your relationship: criticism, you have to learn to speak, to start the conversation in gentle way. Be gentle with your partner, okay? Defensiveness, you defeat defensiveness if you are able to take responsibility of your action and say sorry. Say sorry. Sorry is a word that not many people can say. Yeah. Now, contempt is the most dangerous of all between all four, because you insult the other person. So contempt, you need to instigate a culture of appreciation. If you appreciate your partner, if you appreciate the person that you have next to you, appreciate what you have, you will be less prone to contempt. And stonewalling, you should self-shoot. What it means, take a break from the conversation. If the conversation gets too heated, you take a break from the conversation. You walk away with the plan to come back in 30, 40 minutes and resume and start a new conversation about the same problem until you haven't resolved it. Okay? In this way, you can help the relationship to have better conversation. I give an example of this one. So do you remember The one about the rubbish? Okay. While the rubbish is here, I cannot ask you that. I do everything for you. You're not never happy. And then contempt, you're so silly. Would be much easier to say, darling, why the rubbish is here? Complaining, okay? I ask you to take it away. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I've been busy. I'll do it away. Done. The conversation is done. Finish. Finito. Okay? Finito. In Italian, we say finito. There's nothing else to say. The conversation is there. And the trust is there because you say sorry. You take charge of your wrongdoing, and then you're going to do the right things, and you take the rubbish away. Now, as I say with all my clients, if you do something that makes your partner upset, and you keep doing it, and you know that you keep doing it, well, try to do something different, okay? Do more what works and less what doesn't work. Yeah? Take responsibility of what you do and take charge and make the change. Start the change from yourself. Okay? Now, another conversation is about gridlocks. How many of you knows what is a gridlock? Now, a gridlock is when two people in the relationship arguing over and over again about the same problem, and there is no resolution. Okay, what happened? Okay, what happened here? That you feel misunderstood and unlistened, unheard. You feel hopeless. There is no hope about the conversation that you have, and you feel that there is no hope about the relationship, because if you cannot agree about something, maybe you can start to feel there is no solution. And it happens that both the partner shut down or escalate the conversation. As we say earlier, with the criticism and defensiveness, contempt. Okay, if you shut down, you stonewall. You shut down, you close down the conversation. You don't want to have anything to do about that ever again. So you try to shut down, and what you're going to do is try to solve the situation without solving the situation. Now, what's important to understand that 60%, between 60 and 70% of the conversation that couples have are perpetual. What it means about perpetual? Those conversations are perpetual. This contrasts are perpetual because they are part of the belief system. There's something that is inside the humans, you as an individual. Okay, each individual, even if you grow up in the same building, okay, in the same country, you're born in the same country, you have two different culture and two different upbringing. You have two different ways to see the world. Now, the gridlock happen in those moments, those discussions where the people cannot find as common ground. Okay? This is important to understand because a gridlock can, together with contempt, with criticism, with defensiveness, with stonewalling, kill the relationship. Okay? And this usually happens because the conversation is something that is much deeper than actually what they're talking about. I'll give an example. If you or your partner discuss about the toothpaste that is open in the toilet, and you have discussion about the toothpaste over and over again, the discussion at one point is not anymore about the toothpaste, but is about the meaning of the request to close the toothpaste. And maybe the person that required to close the toothpaste come from a point of trauma and pain, because maybe this can be, maybe they grew up in a family where the parents were arguing about the toothpaste. So the conversation is not anymore about a simple object, a simple action as a toothpaste includes a toothpaste, but is much deeper than that. So what you can do here? Now, the first thing to do is to identify what is the actual problem that you have. Where is the gridlock? Second, identify dream and value about this point. Yeah, what is the dream behind that? What is the value about that? For example, talking about the toothpaste, the dream about the toothpaste is, if you don't close the toothpaste, I feel that I cannot trust you. You don't respect me because I ask you, and you don't do it because you don't respect me. Or the value can be, is something that is connected with my childhood, and I feel that it's important that you're going to close the toothpaste. Yeah? Now, it's important here that you use active listening. What is active listening? Active listening is when you actually listen what the other person without having already an answer. Okay? For example, if you ask your partner about why closing the toothpaste is so important and tell you about the story about the family, okay, you should be able to listen and not say, well, I'm not your family. Huh? I can do whatever I want. I'm not your family. No, listen, understand. Okay? Try to understand where the person comes from. Now, accept the difference between you two. Okay? As I say earlier, say sorry sometimes solve a lot of problem. But if there is real difference between the two, for example, many people have gridlock in politics. Okay? Politics, you can discuss about politics if you go through all these things. What is the dream, the value about your ideological, political, anyway, that one. You can understand, if you actually listen, what is the point of view the other person. This is what people don't do because they want to come across as the winner, okay? And then you're going to accept the difference between you and your partner. It is important that you do all of this, creating an emotional space to talk about this without criticizing, without judging, without complaining about what's going on, okay? Now, all of these things are very important if you are in a relationship. Love languages help you to identify how your partner feel loved. And if you are smart enough, you understand that and you work on that. Okay? And vice versa. Okay? You should communicate what is your love language. You cannot suppose that your partner knows what is your love language. You must communicate what is your love language. Remember, the love language is something to change from child, teenager to adult. And sometimes the love language change from partner to partner and from relationship to relationship. It depends how you talk, and it depends what is the relationship with the people that you have around you. Okay? The second point was about the 4 communication skills that kill. The 4 communication habits that kill the relationship. That is criticize, defend yourself, contempt, and stonewalling. Okay. All of four are very important. Understand that all of four, if you have all these four in your relationship need to work. Otherwise, you're going to divorce. You're going to separate anyway. Um, and how are you going to solve this? Well, criticism, you're going to solve with gentle startup. So be gentle with your partner. And then you have defensiveness with taking responsibility, okay, take charge of your own wrongdoing. The third point is contempt. So contempt, you going to solve contempt with high positive thinking about your partner, okay? And then you have the warning that you need to have breaks, safe shooting, okay? So you stop, you're going to have a break, and then you're going to resume the conversation. You see that if you do this, the conversation that you have the first time would be very different from the conversation that you have the second time, because you don't give to the chance to the argument to escalate in something worse. And how you do that? Communicate. How do you feel? Okay, you communicate how you feel. When you feel that you start to say something that you don't want to say, you just say, hey, I need a break. And I promise you that we come back on this matter. I need a break, 40 minutes, and then we can talk about. In this way, you shut down a little bit the gridlock, and you going to actually talk about what's happening. You see it at the second time, the conversation will be very different. Then we talked about the gridlock conversation. That is when the people in the relationship talk over and over again about the same thing. Okay, and how are you going to do about that? You're going to do 5 simple things. How you can recognize them? You recognize them because the gridlock, because you talk all the same problem over and over again. You feel misunderstood and unheard. You feel that one or both of the partners shut down or escalating emotion the conversation. And what you're going to do? Identify what are the dream and the value. Okay, so what are the dream and the value about the conversation that you have? Use active listening. Listen without thinking to answer before to understand. Okay, accepting the difference. That's very important, especially in today's society that is everything so far apart. Okay, and create safe space to communicate about your situation, your feeling about what's going on. Now, we are at the end of this podcast, Progress Over Perfection. I hope you enjoyed. Send your message, your question, and we'll try to answer to all of you. If you are in a place with your relationship that is you are in trouble, you can reach out at maurodavidi.com, maurodavidi.com, and I'll be very, very happy to help you out if I can. Okay, so see you next Thursday with another appointment with Progress Over Perfection here at Edge Radio Australia.